What's up? What's up? Hi, Rogers. Thank you for joining. I think seeing you for the first time here. Great to have you in our VC. We are recording and let's roll. So as a Shartan team, as we mentioned in the roadmap, we want to keep having these battle training VCs, basically going through scams and how projects work, how to look in the either scan or blockchain explorer, and how to see for yourself like how these things are being done, so that when you're about to invest, you know what you're looking for and you know how to protect yourself basically from getting like avoiding these scams and runs. So that's the goal of our project. So for today, I want to go through like some really good cases, which is very sneaky ones, which we saw last week. And I think these are really rare ones and good to know how bad things are basically. And you can understand how to spot them as well and what we are building and why it is super useful for the community and how you can be a part of this change. So let me share my screen. Okay, there's my screen share. Yeah, as I said, today we want to cover some really sneaky ones, scammed in the last week, and they managed to steal quite some money. So let's look at them. Before that, we as Shartan have two-phase strategy, right? The one is the strong defense, which is the battle training VCs, which we are doing, have been doing for the last couple of weeks. You can find the previous videos in our YouTube channel, and it's also in the announcements and pinned messages. Go through the videos, and we try to make it as simple as possible for anyone to understand. Like you don't need to understand blockchain, or you don't need to know programming to understand this, to spot scams. Anyone who knows how to use a computer and how to use a mouse and can read English can spot these scams. It's as simple as that. That's the goal. We don't want to say that learn blockchain and then you can spot scams. We are like, do this, and you can save yourself. That's as simple as that. And we are working on a utility or a tool that will help you to automate this. And we are working on catching scams as soon as they are deployed, so that people can be aware of them and don't get robbed or scammed. Because devs can lie in the chat, but the contract doesn't lie. So if you know how to spot these in the contract, you don't even have to ask the dev. That's what we want to be. That's what we want to build. So before we go into today's cases, these are certain things I highlighted in the last week's VC. I want to highlight them again because it's very easy to check, and these are very simple steps you can ask in the Telegram group of the project. And if you don't understand the details of this, please go through last week's VC. I'm just going to highlight them here so that you remember what to ask for. If the contract is not verified, don't buy. The liquidity is not locked, do not buy. And if they have removed liquidity in the past, they're going to remove liquidity. Just don't believe the words. Just look in the scan and see for yourself. I have showed you how to do that in the last week. We will see some of that stuff again, because the scams are not so different. They're doing the same thing again and again. So it shows that people don't really take the time. That's why the people who are stealing money are like lazy. They're just doing the same things again and again, and people are okay with losing money. It's not totally okay, right? So let's stop them. And the last one is liquidity drainer again, which we went through in the last week. If you missed that, go to the pinned messages and you can check battle training VC2. I think it was 2. All right, so let's get into the juicy stuff for today. I want to cover like four projects. Some of them are related, and they managed to steal quite a bit money, and also one project which we managed to stop them from rugging. So let's start and see what has been happening in the last week. I want to start with the transparent rug because that was very unique. I mean, not many people do that. Is little bit involved. So that was this project called Potion, and that's the link to the text tools. Right. This project already rugged in the sense they launched, and a couple of people bought in, and then they removed liquidity. So yeah, this was just 3 days back on 26th. So let's see what happened. First step is open DEX tools and then click on view contract. This is the ether scan. If you know how to read ether scan, I would say you are an expert. You don't need anything else. Like if you know how to read ether scan, you can help yourself so much. So the first step is you go to the last page. And here is what I mean by transfer and rug. So basically, if you see any contract, the first step is contract creation, and the second step is adding liquidity, right? Okay, let me see. Let me see if for comparing, just for comparing. Okay, let's take which project? Okay, let's take this project. This was also rugging, but I just want you to see the difference, so that you understand what I'm talking about. And then see. Okay, there you go. So usually, let's same step, go to the contract, always go to the last page. In this case, the first page is the last page. He just launched and he removed liquidities. So you see, the first step in any contract is minting the tokens from the null address. So he has minted like 10 billion tokens. And the second step in any contract, normal contract, is adding liquidity. So basically, they mint tokens and then they add liquidity and then they enable trading. People start buying and selling. This is a normal project contract flow. But if you notice this project, they have done the same thing. They have minted tokens, but they haven't added liquidity. What they have done is, before adding liquidity, they have sent 10 billion tokens to a bunch of wallets. Yeah. Basically, all these wallets, they send tokens for free, basically, before adding liquidity, and then they add liquidity. This is very, very shady. Whenever you see something like this you can see as soon as a project is launching, right? As soon as a contract is created, and if you see a bunch of transfers before the liquidity is added, it's a very big red flag. I will not buy. I'll just go to the dev in the TG and ask, why are these transfers done before adding liquidity? The general answers they give is, these are private investors and these are influencers. All this is bullshit, at least in my experience. When they're saying like investors, they're not going to sell, they are diamond hands, just don't believe that stuff. If you see this, and if these tokens are not locked in a vault, like that's possible. If they're really caring about their community, and if they have private investors, and if they go in and lock these tokens in a vault, let's say for a week or 10 days, then I'm okay to trust the dev. But if he's just saying, trust me, these are influencers and private investors, they're not going to dump on you, I'm not going to trust, because I have seen better. So this is a very big red flag. That's already a red flag. Right here, I'm not buying this token. But let's see what happens next. And then he added liquidity. Then he has enabled trading. People started buying and selling, right? And then, yeah, a couple of buys and sells. And then he removed liquidity, basically. So the way to look at that is, you go to the contract that added liquidity. That's the owner wallet. And you see what he has done. And if you see what he has done, there you go. Remove liquidity. That means he pulled out liquidity. He added liquidity here for 15 ETH. Then a bunch of people bought, and then he removed liquidity for 20, 25, 30. Let's see how much he pulled out. He pulled 36 ETH. He added 15 ETH and he pulled out 36 ETH. He basically doubled his money. He stole more than 20 ETH, nearly 21 ETH, just by doing this. But that's not it. If you see, he has renounced ownership. Generally, what people say is someone renounces ownership, they have no access to the contract. But in this case, he hasn't locked the liquidity, right? That's the main step which I pointed here. Like, if the liquidity is not locked, don't buy. This guy has not locked liquidity. There is no lock liquidity happening here. And people, they didn't know. People who didn't know, they just bought in and then he just ran away with the money. So this project has a couple of red flags. One, he has transferred tokens before adding liquidity. Two, he hasn't locked the liquidity. And three, he removed the liquidity. And there's one more thing which I want to show you guys. I said, like, when the dev says these tokens are private investors, right? Like all that bullshit. I want to show you what really happened here. He sent like maybe 10 or 15 wallets. One way to check if he's really meaning what he said or he's just lying to your face is go to these wallets and see what they're doing. So if you see the dev wallet that added liquidity has transferred 10 billion tokens to this address. I'm going to see what this guy did. You see, the dev transferred 10 billion. Just 1 hour after that, he sold 80% of the tokens. That's free money, because before adding liquidity, these tokens mean nothing. They're just numbers. And he sold them. Basically, it makes it look like a fair sell in the chart. You will think that people are buying and selling. Basically, these guys are dumping on you. Same thing. 10 billion, he sold 800 million. Just free money. And he pulled it out. And I'm pretty sure all of these wallets did the same. It's a pattern. It's transparent rug. It's called soft rug. It looks like a fair, normal transaction, but if you look into the Etherscan, you can clearly see this guy transferred to a bunch of. I'm pretty much sure these are his own wallets. He just faked sells, basically slowly removing liquidity, and finally he felt it was enough, and then he just directly removed liquidity and not even locked it. That's really bad. So that's one project which I wanted to point you to. You can see this, it's called Potion. Let's go to the next one. Tornado Cash. Yeah. Another thing that happened with this project, which I found out later on, like I saw some communications in TG, people were telling that the guy who made Potion was the same guy who made Alchemist, was the same guy who made Alchemist Gold. Like all of them, I think, launched on the same day or like one day before after. I did some digging and I was able to find a link between these two projects. Basically the same guy, but this one I was not able to find. So I found a website called bitquery.io where you can search an address and it gives some kind of a graph like this. It's really beautiful. If you can see, the guy who has made Alchemist project, he rugged for 93 ETH, and that came into this wallet right here. And the same wallet rugged Potion, and it got 10.56 ETH into the same wallet. Then he moved money to a different wallet and turned the cash out. Right from this graph, we can see that these two projects are tied to the same wallet. So anytime in the future, if you see this wallet launching a project, you straight away know that this guy rugged in the past. I'm not going to touch that project. So this website is really good. If you want to take note of that, it's bitquery.io. We are trying to use this or similar website in the backend for the utility so that you don't have to go through all this. As long as you own Shartan tokens, you will have access to the utility, and all these will be done for you so that you see on your screen when you enter the contract whether it's going to rug, have they rugged in the past, is it worth investing in this project, is the dev lying, all this information will be provided for you. So that's what we are building. This is just I want you to see what's happening in the back, right? You don't see this in Telegram, you don't see this in call channels, but this is the truth. The guy who made Alchemist rugged to this wallet. The guy who made Potion, basically the same guy, rug to the same wallet, and then he transferred money out, Tornado Cash. So Tornado Cash means it's impossible to track where the money went, right? That's the bad thing about Tornado Cash. And anytime, that's again, it's a very, very big red flag. If someone is, if you see in the Etherscan Tornado Cash, just don't buy, because no one will do Tornado Cash in, like, you can bring money in via Tornado Cash and you can also move money out via Tornado Cash. So if someone is bringing in money via Tornado Cash and starting a project, it clearly shows me that he is trying to hide something. Why you want to buy into a project like that? So if you see a Tornado Cash, just don't touch it, run away. So let me show you the Tornado Cash from here. Let's see where is the Tornado Cash. It will be pretty much, because from this graph we can see that he removed money from Potion, he removed liquidity, he transferred to intermediate wallet, then out. Let's see if we can track it here. Remove liquidity, and then he transferred 20 ETH to an intermediate wallet. Here you see 20 ETH, Tornado Cash, Tornado Cash. Whenever you see this, just don't touch it. You don't even have to ask in the TG. If you want, you can go to the TG and shout, put a warning message like this: dev has moved money through Tornado Cash, don't buy this project, and then get away from there. That's all I can say. Yeah, so that's Tornado Cash, and we also covered same dev multiple projects, Alchemist and Potion. I haven't been able to find a link to Alchemist Gold. If someone else finds that, I'm happy to see that. And this was fake lock. This one was sneaky, this guy, called Meme Lawn. It launched a couple of days back. I already have it open here, so let's see that. So this was the project which me and my partner managed to stop them. I'm really happy that we could stop them, because me and my partner Golden Monkey, we were on a call and we were discussing like how to build the tool and like what to cover in the battle training and explaining things. And right then this project launched, and I saw in the contract like this guy is gonna rug. There was something bad, and I just directly went into the TG and put a warning message. This contract has potential honeypot, so don't buy or ask questions to the dev. He panicked, which is natural, and he tried to cover it up. Like, if thing is like, if it is a honeypot, and if the dev is really honest and he cares for his project, he will stand up and say, okay, what do you see? Why do you say it's a honeypot? And he will have a conversation like normal human, right? But if someone is not doing that, or if they're dodging you, or you're blocking you, or ignoring the question, it's a clear sign. Like, guys, please see that, and just don't imagine like the dev is good. That comes from FOMO. It's not true, and that's what happens. So this guy, what he did was, he said, I'm going to renounce. So people were like, wow, that's good. If you renounce, we cannot touch anything. And let's see what he did. This guy is really sneaky. He said, I have locked the tokens. He said he will renounce, and let's see what he did. He added liquidity and he enabled trading. Right around this time, I went into the TG and said, there is a potential honeypot code in the contract. So guys, ask the dev, just don't buy blindly. And then people started asking. I was very happy to see that. Like, people started asking questions like, why? And then he said, I'm going to lock liquidity. And he shared this link. He said he's going to lock liquidity and shared this link in the TG. Just let's look at that link, because that was really funny. And he shared this link. It's for the same meme loan project. So whenever the dev shares with you like a lock link, just go and check, because they can cheat in that as well. It's not just the link. You need to look deeper. When I went to the link and I found that no tokens were locked. If you see, unknown project, no locked liquidity. It is the same contract ID, contract address, but it says no lock liquidity. So basically he faked a lock. He didn't really lock anything. He just faked the lock and he sent a link. He thought people don't care. As long as they see a link, they're gonna buy. If you're in that category, now you know what to do. Click on the link and see what they really locked. these guys are like, they think we are stupid, we are foolish, but this takes literally 1 minute to check. And if you check, you are not only protecting yourself, you're protecting everyone in the TG. Like if you go and call out, like this guy hasn't logged anything, he's bullshitting, no one will buy, right? You save your money and you help your brother save his money, or your sister save some money, right? So yeah, and we managed to stop this guy from pulling. See, he said he removed, he locked, right? So he sent this link and then he removed liquidity. If he has really locked, it's impossible to remove liquidity, right? And he removed liquidity. I think he pulled around 4.13, but he added, I think, around 3.58. So I think he just broke even. He didn't even make any money because launching a project itself costs on ETH. It's quite expensive. So yeah, he added he added 3.58 and he pulled 4.13. So basically 0.6. That's nothing compared to what these guys managed to do. These guys like from 15 ETH to 36 ETH, and this one is like insane. And we see what's happening in the background, right? So when we see this, we are not going to buy. So that's what we are building, and this is what I wanted to cover in today's VC. Like, look into the contract. If there are transfers before adding liquidity, ask in the TG. And if he says like influencers, investors, stuff bullshit, don't believe it. Ask them to lock. If they say no, don't buy, because there is at least one project launching every hour. Like, you're not going to miss on anything. Why losing money on empty words? And the second red flag is Tornado Cash. If you see Tornado Cash anywhere in the Etherscan, just don't touch that project. And if you really care about the community and about people not getting rubbed, actually go into the TG right where you are and post a warning. Let them ban you, I don't care. You also don't care. Like, post a warning saying that I saw this in the Etherscan. If you care, paste a screenshot, make some noise, let others know. Like, and yeah, that's a good way to help your fellow men, and someone will do that to you on a different day. That's how things works. And this is just a sneaky one I wanted to share. Like, the same dev rugging 2 projects consecutively. If you know how to see an Etherscan, you can spot this immediately. It hardly takes any time. Like I showed here, these 2 projects, basically the same dev, and he pulled quite some money because people don't know how to see these things. Yeah, and then fake lock, which I covered for this meme loan project. Just take care of that. If someone is sending you a lock liquidity link, go and click the link and check. Hardly takes a minute, and you can see how much he's locking 100% or he's locking just 2%. If he's locking just 2%, it's no meaning, right? He still can drain 98% of the liquidity, and you'll be left with just 2% of what you bought. That's how it is. And that's where our utility comes in. We are building, as I said, utility and a detector tool. We're trying to use the best technology available and make it as fast as possible, so that as soon as a token is launched, you have immediate access to what's happening in the contract, what is the history of the dev, what is he hiding, what is he not saying, what has he done in the past, is he going to rug or is he lying to your face? All this will be there at your fingertips, and then you can decide whether you want to buy or not. I think that's an educated way of approaching crypto, rather than FOMOing in, just throwing money and hoping that it will 100x and hanging by the words of the dev that it's going to be fine. Don't do that. Like, I think if you just look at your past, if you can look beyond your FOMO and the rush, you will know in the depth of your heart that this is not right. This project is going to rock. Like, go with that feeling. Like, just don't follow the crowd. Just don't FOMO in. Like, we are providing you all the tools to the best of our capacity to help yourself first to prevent these runs, and then help others, sharing and rating in the TG, helping others to prevent getting wrong, right? That's how we change crypto, and that's what we're going to do with Shartans. And I'm happy to say that the utility tool is in the beta stage. We are working really hard on that because we know that scammers are not stopping. and we have to be fast about it. And I really would appreciate the community is keen on this and active in the community. Invite your friends, let them join in. We'll be sharing these videos on YouTube. It's free. Education is free. Only you need for the utility. Most probably, you would need to have Shartan tokens, because that's something as our utility, right? And that's our marketing strategy. I'm being open with you. So currently, our token is pretty cheap. If you want to load up, now is the time. And when the utility comes out, I'm pretty sure that people will see the value, and I don't think you can buy at this price. So if you're sitting on the wall thinking whether this is worth it, go through the videos I'm sharing, see for yourself if it's valuable for you, and all this will be done automatically in the tool. You don't have to spend even 1 minute. It will be there at your fingertips. As soon as you put in the contract, you will see it in a few seconds. So then you can decide to buy or not. That's the power of the tool we're building. So yeah, just keeping it short for today. Go through these videos and see how you can avoid this for yourself. All right, I'm just going to quickly see if there are any questions in the DG, and then if any of you guys who are live with me, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. If you want to share anything, yeah. All right, and there are no questions in the TG. Yes, guys, we have an announcement channel. We have a YouTube channel. Share with your community, invite people if you find this useful. So yeah, let's close for today. And my team, we still continue to work on the utility. We're also working on the marketing front. Our TG is quite silent because I don't want to create fake hype and FOMO. I want to really focus on the utility and let people decide whether this is worth it, and then it will move for sure. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining today, and let's keep rolling. We are just getting started. Thank you.